live. Does that mean it is?
I just pushed the button, and now you are live.
Okay, great. Katie, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you just fine, Chair.
Alrighty. Well, it is 4:04, so let's call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the minutes from our last meeting in April. I did not see any necessary corrections and would move to adopt them.
I'll second that.
Okay. We also received from Dave personnel transactions. There were 2, right?
Yes, the first one looks like it was, I think they were just for different, oh. It's the same document. You just must have attached it twice, it looks like. It's the same exact stuff. It's it starts with Brian Sentner on April 21st and it goes through Jared Bagliardo on May 5th. Is that the document you guys are looking at?
Yes.
Yep, so it looks like perhaps there was just the one sheet.
Okay. Well, I would move to adopt or approve them, whatever we're doing. Are we adopting them, recognizing them?
Sure, you're approving them as presented.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. And now, Katie, I think it becomes over to you.
Yes, sir. So we had a few pieces of or items of correspondence, all from the State Civil Service Department, and I will go through them briefly. The first was, it looks like a duplicate on the agenda. They're both regarding the transportation exam scope revision. It was actually 2 separate letters that they sent us. We have an exam in July. We have a title that falls into that series. It's transit coordinator. We have a provisionally appointed employee. So ultimately what the long and short of this correspondence was that the state had made an error in the exam scope, which is the information that I use to prepare the exam announcement. So basically the first letter was telling us, hey, we made a mistake. And the second one was telling us how to fix it. So the good news was we had not advertised for the exam yet. They caught it pretty quick. We made the revision, made the change, and then have since advertised the exam. So that's good. The next one is just a PAR. That's a policy advisory report 0721. It was issued on June 8th. And this is to notify municipal civil service agencies of a change in the decentralized information technology test system. It's called DITTS. And effectively what this comes down to is this decentralized exam program is used for we do not use it here at the city, but the school district does for some of their IT-based titles. And previously, the exams in this program would be a training and experience part where the applicant fills out a questionnaire about their training and experience and education. And then the other part is there was a qualifying performance test where you would effectively do, I'm not even entirely sure what it was, but you would have to go through like a synchronized computer model exercise. So based on feedback that was received by the State Commission from local agencies, everybody just agreed that the qualifying performance test was no longer applicable or meaningful. And so this PAR advises us that we are to stop using that immediately, which is of course great for us because that's just one less step in the process. This does not come up for us often or ever, just given that, again, we have very few titles allocated to this examination program. So that's that. The next was tentative examination dates, and the only one that applies to us is the entry-level police officer, which we will unfortunately be having to give again, and that has been scheduled for Saturday, September 18th. So we have exhausted the list from the test that was given last September. And when I say exhausted, I mean literally exhausted. We do not have one candidate remaining on the list. So we will be giving it again. So I'm hoping that we'll get the scope soon so that we can get this advertised pretty much immediately.
Can you pre-advertise without the scope, or is that even worth it?
Well, you can't really, Keith, because we don't know. I mean, that's a good question. It's something that Dave and I have talked about. It's nothing that we can really do though, because there's specific information contained in that scope that
Okay.
you need in order to put the exam out, because otherwise, I mean, so what we do is sometimes if we go to job fairs or recruitment fairs, we'll hand out little postcards that say, hey, if you're interested in becoming a police officer, this is the process. This is the exam date. Here's our website. Keep your eye on it. And you know, we should post the exam announcement sometime, you know, in July. So one thing that Dave and I had talked about was maybe, you know, when we go through recruitment cycles and we meet people, having people effectively sign up on a distribution list to be emailed the exam announcement once it finally comes out, but it's just something we haven't implemented yet. The only other item to note on the tentative exams are that we still have there's still several exams that are pending rescheduling. I mean, especially the titles allocated to the accounting series, our purchasing agent, and a few other in other areas, which we will go through, I think, in the next section. The next was a public safety dispatcher series. It was due on July 7th. We submitted that. Effectively, the state is just looking for information on how we are using civilian dispatchers and what capacity, the types of activities they're doing. So we completed and sent that. And of course, I believe they're asking because like bus drivers, like we were talking about before we went live, there's also, you know, statewide issues recruiting civilian dispatchers. It's a tough job, a lot of stress. The next one was June 26th and July 17th exam dates, just information to contact the state test administration unit. This is effectively on exam day. If there's problems or something goes wrong, they're just changing the phone number that we call if we have some sort of catastrophic incident. That concludes correspondence.
Wonderful. We only had the one eligible list.
Yes, sir, we do. And if you don't mind, I will share my screen and we can look at it together if you would like.
That would be great.
Can you all see it over here?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so this was a custodian, an open competitive exam that we gave back on May 1st. We had 3 candidates. Of course, they all did very well. They all passed. You will see their rankings here. Uh-oh, wait a minute. This one needs a change. The only reason why we need a change is because you will notice the tied score, and when scores are tied, we establish unique rankings by alphabetical order. So Mr. Thompson and Mr. Walters just needed to be switched there. So that said,
In that there's only 3, they're all eligible to be hired, correct?
correct. They are all reachable. We do not currently have a vacancy. We gave the exam because we are obligated to, given that we held the exam on a promotional basis for the school district about a month ago.
All right, good.
Okay,
Looks like Dave is with us.
Dave has joined us. Hi, Dave. Okay, are there any
So
concerns or can we?
I'll move to adopt.
Second.
Unanimous.
Great. While my screen is being shared, I think we'll just move on to the exam status, which is here.
good.
Can you guys see this okay?
I can.
Okay, because I can blow it up a little bit if you need. So we're pretty much status quo. I mean, we'll go through these. We have an ordinance
Was-
inspector.
Was that an ageist remark there, Katie?
No,
Blowing up the screen? I'm kidding.
no, I wouldn't. I am shocked and chagrined at that sort of assumption, Chairbot. No, it's just sometimes on screen share, things look smaller than they need. Now, if come on, if I had blown it up to like 200%, then I think you would have a valid. Okay.
I'm sorry.
So we have, I just ordered an ordinance inspector exam, just last week, I believe. We just hired that position provisionally. That was, the parking enforcement officer in OPD. And based on a variety of factors, we decided that that position should be held, it should be filled as an ordinance inspector. So we just had to order the exam. Police officer, I realized I didn't have a request in there, so we did that. Transit working supervisor, that's the exam we talked about. This is both the promotional and the open competitive exam. Those are being held in July. Fire captain, Nancy and I are giving this coming Saturday, the 26th. We've got 10 candidates for that, so it's a really good turnout. I was very happy.
Are they all in our department?
They are all, that test is offered on a promotional basis only, just because we know that we're going to have
fire-
way more than 3 people interested in the promotion.
Right.
Senior account clerk, this was ordered in February. It is yet to be scheduled. Police chief was held on the 6th. We are still awaiting results there. The last I heard from the state was they were still processing exams that were held in February. So I'm hopeful that we'll have, results for that pretty soon, but we shall see. And obviously, again, this is just the promotional and the open competitive exam. Anything with a 6 is open competitive, anything with a 7 is promotional. Administrative specialists, we're still out there in 2030. So your guess is as good as mine as to when that will be held. Police sergeant, we gave earlier this month. Everything went well there. We had, I believe, 6 candidates. And so we will probably at this rate be getting the scores sometime in December, hopefully sooner. Firefighter was held on May 1st. We had a pretty good turnout for that relative to what a lot of agencies saw. Similar to with the police officer candidates, we administered the physical agility exam. The department's qualified trainers did a couple weekends ago, and we only had 7 pass. We have 3 candidates who are pending alternate test dates, so we're looking at a total pool of 10. So given that I anticipate that there will be several retirements from the department during the current contractual cycle, we're going to be giving that test again next year too. There's just going to be no way around it.
So how many people took the physical agility?
I believe there were several no-shows. I think there were 9 that showed up. So there were 2 failures. It was either 2 or 3 failures, probably 3 or 4 no-shows, and then 3 alternate tests. Civilian dispatcher, this one is done and cleared. We established that list at a previous meeting. Water and sewer supervisor, still hanging out there. That celebrated its first birthday back in February. So no updates here as to when that will be held. We have a provisional hire in that title. So hopefully that will be done soon. I hate having provisionals being left in limbo through no fault of their own for extended periods of time. Same thing here, water and sewer supervisor. This is just the open competitive exam. Purchasing agent, this is the one I mentioned was still pending rescheduling, so there's no updates here. That was canceled due to the pandemic. Accountant and junior accountant are in that same pool. It was the accounting series and the purchasing storekeeping series that they're just, I'm not entirely clear on what's going on, but they have not yet rescheduled. Records management clerk, this has, been out here since 2019. We've had a provisional and, quite frankly, the person is retiring, I believe, in November or December of this year. So it's likely that the incumbent will retire before the exam is actually held. So that's fascinating to me. And then we have our transit director, which was ordered again in June of 2019. So that one is still pending.
So the records management clerk is a provisional appointment waiting for an exam that they'll retire before they get to take. Is that what I just heard you say?
That is a correct assessment of the situation.
Wow. Okay.
Any questions on exams?
No, you're doing a great job keeping them in line.
Well,
Is there any way we can speed the state up? Doubtful.
Doubtful.
No.
I would say it's less than doubtful, but I don't know what that word would be. I think we just have to exercise patience and, attempt to avoid provisional hires where we can by strategic civil servicing, which is what we try to do when we can, but some of these things like applicant pools and physical agility tests and unplanned retirements, I mean, we can never account for, but we do what we can. So the next item on the list while I'm sharing my screen is the Director of Facilities, Maintenance and Transportation for the school district. I don't know why what the heck's going on there. I want this to be specific to the school district. What the heck? It's making me crazy. All right, well, I guess I'll have to fix that later. So what this is the school district has requested that we consider adoption of this. It is a job spec that I worked on directly with the district to meet their needs. It kind of combines a lot of functions into one position based on their unique needs. So it's administrative and supervisory, including responsibility for planning, you know, all of these things. Here's the typical work activities. If you want to just take a minute to take a quick look. Let me know when you're ready to move on or if you have questions.
It's a union position.
No, this would be unrepresented because it's managerial.
Okay.
Um,
And yet they're allowed to do hands-on work.
I think it would just be on an as needed basis. Which bullet are you looking at?
Oh, one of the early ones. May participate, you may manages and may participate in all maintenance and custodial operations.
Yeah, I think that's just as needed or for training activities. I mean, the function of this job is to be managerial, not technical.
I
guess.
had a union grievance filed against me years ago because I drove the tractor after 5 o'clock to clean something up. I was having fun because I thought driving tractors was a lot of fun. The Teamsters union that represented my superintendents didn't think so much of it.
Well, you know, it gets the best
Just-
of us, Keith. One time I dared vacuum my own office, not here, but at my previous municipal employer, and somebody ratted me out. And so I also was grieved for something similar. Here I thought I was helping, but.
So, I more seriously, I look at that and wonder if that's, you know, asking for a union complaint.
I think you are making a very valid point, but the job description is based on what the school district identified as their needs and how they require the position to function. So quite frankly, it's going to be up to them to manage the labor aspect of it,
Okay.
you know, with their own labor union. I mean, I can't necessarily say that it's something that I would probably write into an unrepresented title job description here at the city level, but I mean, I think that if this is what they're telling us they need, I'd like to accommodate them if we can. So here's the qualifications: a bachelor's degree in any one of a number of related fields, relevant fields, I should say, and 3 years of experience. Wait a minute, this can't be right. 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it is right. Or an associate degree with 5 years of experience.
High
This
school with
is
8.
the one that's wrong. It's got to be high school and 7. Because I knew there was something wrong here. You have to have equivalency through the qualification. So a bachelor's degree, if you think that counts as 4 years plus 3 years, that's 7.
Right.
associate degree is 2 plus 5, that gets us 7. This really should be including, not in addition to, including 3 years of supervisory experience. That was a typo. And then we have high school technically counts as 0, so we need 7 years of experience. And this needs to be including. Or the person needs to have a, oh my goodness, this is riddled with typos. I'm so sorry here. I thought I was so prepared. I guess it's not just you tonight, Chair Bot. Need to have a driver's license and just some special language about a background check because the person would be working with students in a school. So that said, with those few revisions that I just typed in while we're talking, are there any questions or concerns? Obviously, this would be allocated to the competitive class. There's no justification for this to be outside, so we should probably add that in here too. Any questions or concerns?
Nope.
I like watching you type, and I would move that we adopt it.
Do we have a
I'll second.
second? Okay. Oh,
And another unanimous decision. Good.
so that actually concludes the agenda. I didn't have anything else unless I had no other new business. There was no old business to follow up on from the last meeting that I saw. Unless you guys have anything or Dave has anything to add. That was the extent of what I had.
Sounds good to
Nothing
me.
here.
Okay. So our next meeting is July 28th. I know it's tough sometimes during the summer. Is that, I mean, I don't know if anybody knows offhand of any scheduling conflicts.
What day of the week? Is that a Wednesday?
Wednesday, yeah. Okay. Well, we will coordinate, I'm sure, closer to the date.
Okay. I'll make a motion. to
Nothing on
adjourn.
my calendar.
Great.
All righty.
So
Good.
There's a motion to adjourn, I believe, by Russ.
And I'll second that. 4:27.
It's got to be a record. Okay, very
Thank
cool. Thank you all so much. I hope you have a
All
great
right.
night.
Good to see you.